Freeze it! Off!
Good afternoon and welcome to the commencement exercises for the class of 2014 at Nash Central High School. I am delighted to see so many parents, relatives, and friends of our graduates here today to celebrate this wonderful occasion. I want to take this opportunity to thank our very special guests seated on the stage, left and right as well, our superintendent, associate superintendent, assistant superintendents, and members of the Nash Rocky Mount Public Schools Board of Education. They are all present today to celebrate and honor our graduates on this special occasion. These individuals will be introduced formally later in the program. Central Office personnel and principals from Nash Rocky Mount Public Schools are here as well to celebrate with our students. Thank you for bookmarking this special occasion on behalf of our graduates. The faculty and staff at Nash Central High School work tirelessly for the good of our students and are seated behind the candidates to honor them on this special day. To you, faculty and staff, the assistant principals and I would like to thank you for the work you have done to prepare our students for this day. Your work is tedious and it's often thankless, and it is important for us that you know and understand how much we sincerely appreciate your work. Seniors, I encourage you to take time today to thank your teachers, and not just your favorite teachers, but rather take advantage of the opportunity you will have today to thank all public school teachers for the work that they do on your behalf. Parents, today is a very special day for the class of 2014. Every parent is waiting to hear the name of his or her daughter or son called to receive a diploma. For this reason, we ask that you follow a few guidelines because we know that you will agree that our seniors have worked very hard and deserve a ceremony that represents dignity and respect. Therefore, for the next plus or minus 1 hour, we ask that you adhere to the following guidelines. Please turn off or silence all cell phones or other electronic devices. Understand that if you leave during the ceremony, you will not be allowed to regain entry. During the presentation of diplomas, please hold all applause and cheers until every student has been awarded a diploma. Also, as a courtesy, crying infants should be taken to the lobby. Please remain in your seat until all graduates have recessed and the last graduate has exited the gym. Individuals who refuse to comply with these guidelines will be asked to leave. Extreme cases of noncompliance will be handled by local law enforcement officers. And finally, seniors, I am so proud of you. and I know that good things lie ahead of you. You have proven that you are capable and ready to walk alone now. I want you to make this first walk one that will yield fruit to your liking. Fruit that will produce rewarding outcomes will also create a multitude of success for you. Again, congratulations to the class of 2014.
Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to introduce today's distinguished guests. We are honored to have them with us today. As you are introduced, please stand to be recognized. Dr. Anthony Jackson, Superintendent of Nash Rocky Mount Public Schools. Dr. Eric Cunningham, Associate Superintendent of the Administration and Operations. Chairperson, Ms. Evelyn Bullock, Board of Education member. Ms. Donovan Chavis Battle, Board of Education member. Mr. Michael Grover, Board of Education member. Ms. Ann Edge, Board of Education member. Mr. William Sharp, Board of Education member. Ms. Robin May, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction. Mr. Michael Hodges, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. And Mr. Thomas Crabtree, Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources.
Thank you very much. I do believe that they are deserving of another round of applause. Two is a cardinal number because it is of prime importance. 2 is the only even number that is prime, basically because it can only be divided evenly by itself and 1. I am making this point because the young man who has earned the privilege of being named the 2014 Salutatorian is a prime example of being evenly divided. Tristan Taylor Miller is a well-balanced young man. He is aware of the need to manage his intellect and emotions and is able to divide himself evenly as needed in order to yield a perfect combination of himself. Tristan, please step forward to receive your gift from Nash Rocky Mount Public Schools. The plaque reads, Nash Rocky Mount Public Schools Award for Academic Excellence, Salutatorian, presented to Tristan Taylor Miller, Nash Central High School, June 14, 2014. Thank you, Tristan. The number 1 is a very significant number. It is the building block of all positive integers. It is actually the number that merits its own existence. It is the only positive integer with exactly 1 positive divisor. I would say that that's pretty unique. Much like the young man who has been named the 2014 Valedictorian, Andrew Donovan Moody. Andrew's academic record is a solid building block for the work ahead of him and an excellent rubric for his peers to use. We are extremely proud of Andrew, and it is our distinct honor to present him with a plaque from the Nash Rocky Mount Public Schools. Andrew, please step forward to receive your gift, which will serve as a reminder of your accomplishments. And his plaque reads, Nash Rocky Mount Public Schools Award for Academic Excellence, Valedictorian, presented to Andrew Donovan Moody, Nash Central High School, June 14, 2014. Thank you, Andrew.
Good afternoon, families, friends, faculty, and of course, the class of 2014. Is this supposed to be my salutatorian or my president's meeting? Make it sure. It is an honor to be able to stand here before you. Today is that one day that we have all been working for ever since we can remember. Ever since before preschool, we began to learn things that would help us when we began kindergarten. Then, all throughout elementary school, the teachers spoke of middle school and how important it was to be ready for it. Then, of course, in middle school, all we heard was how hard high school was going to be. And how important it was going to be to get ready for that as well. And now, here we are. We did it. We made it through our last 4 years of our education and are finally able to receive our one special piece of paper. At first, I was going to attempt to write something funny about how it seems unfair that after 13 years of schooling, all we end up with is a piece of paper. But after a second thought, I realized that piece of paper is nothing to laugh at. That is the key to moving on from this place and making a good life for ourselves. That is why this journey has truly been so important. Without that diploma, where would we be able to go from here? It's a crazy thing to think back on the journey that has led us up to getting our diplomas. For just about all of us, it started out the same way. We were all unsure. It didn't matter if you thought you were all big and bad as an 8th grader and were at the top of your game in middle school. We were all unsure about what was ahead. And the upperclassmen at the time were so very helpful to us, making sure we knew certain key things about high school. For instance, they all made sure that we knew never to get caught trying to sneak into the pool on top of the auxiliary gym. As a freshman, I have to admit that I thought we had a pool up there. And I was totally right, there's totally a pool up there. So, when that first day of freshman year began, we all tried to seem like we were so cool and confident. I put on what I thought were my coolest clothes, and I tried to fix my hair just right. This was the first day of high school. I had to make a good impression. I remember how we were all herded into the gym that first morning, and the speech that Mr. Harris gave about how this year was very important, and we needed to make sure we all worked hard. All the things you might expect from a first day speech. Then I can remember the absolute commotion among the freshmen in the hallways trying to find our classes. It seems funny now because the shape of our school really isn't that complicated at all. But there we were asking which hall was the 200 hall and which was the 400 hall, and being worried about getting to class on time. Then getting home that first day and complaining about having math homework and it's just the first day. Don't worry, Miss Aiken, I didn't complain that much. I remember all the new friends that we met that first day. We didn't know it right away, but those friends we met would be a major part of the good times that we would have in high school, and a major part of the memories that we cherish. I'm going to be predictable now and continue on in our high school years in time order. So, after we made it through as freshmen, we came back as sophomores. This was a strange year for all of us. We were no longer the new students in the school, so no one seemed as interested in us anymore. Also, we were still too young to drive to school or to be a part of upper class activities. However, we were no longer helpless when learning where our classes were, and we now knew that under no circumstances should you ever get a locker in the hallway because you will never have time to go there. We also knew that every now and then, if you saw teachers waiting by doors for the tardy bell like they were guards, you better hurry up and get to class because there was most likely a hall sweep coming. Sophomore year went by in a blur, and no time at all, we were coming up on junior year. This was a big year. Many of us were finally driving. We were starting to be looked up by the younger students. Things were starting to go our way. We were quickly reminded that not everything could go our way because the one thing that changes in junior year is the coursework. We all realized that this was going to be a more difficult academic year, and we had to push harder than ever before to make it through. With capstone and harder math and more expected of all of us, it was a challenge. But after all that, we still managed to push through. Finally, at the end of junior year, we were at last what we had always wanted to be. We were the seniors. We were the top of the school. We were the graduating class of 2014. Going in, I wasn't worried. I had always heard that senior year was easy, not like junior year at all. Those friends that said that to me owe me an apology for lying because it was not what I expected. Senior year was most definitely not the easiest year. On the contrary, it was the hardest year of them all. Not only were we expected to continue with our work, but now we had to get ready for life after high school. Whether that was applying for college or getting ready for the workforce or even deciding to serve our country in the military, it was an added variable that made senior year completely different than any other year we had experienced. From start to end, senior year posed challenges that caused us to grow as students and as people. Through it all, we pushed through time and time again, and here we are. We have made it through our last year. Looking back on all 4 years, we will all remember something that sticks out to us, something that holds a special place in our minds when we think about what high school was. In truth, there are so many great memories that we have made together as a class, whether it was coming out to a football game and seeing all your friends, or just simply sitting in class and having a moment that was special enough to remember. I'd say that we can all look back on something about high school that will make us smile. Along with all the memories of things that were considered acceptable behavior, I know we all have our share of memories of things less acceptable. As a quick disclaimer, I was never involved in any of the following. I know that some of us at one time or another has decided that school food wasn't going to ruin our day, and because on that day, we decided to be brave and venture out to Sheetz for some good quality food. I know that some of us here have decided that we were in charge of our schedule for the day and decided not to go to class. I know that most of us are guilty of either talking in class or throwing paper in class or just messing around in general when we weren't supposed to. Most of us at one time or another has been a part of a food fight at school. Some of us got in trouble during homecoming junior year for painting our chests and taking off our shirts during the football game. And I know that one of us here is guilty of flying a helicopter in the middle of class and getting away with it without any consequences at all. Guilty. I think that there is one rule that every single person in this entire class has broken. I know we have all been on an electronic device during class when we weren't supposed to. And if you got caught doing that, you either said, "Oh, I was just about to turn it off," or, "Sorry, I had to text my mom." These were all things that could have gotten us in trouble, but as we all know, they were things that made some of the best memories in high school. Along with all the memories that we could have expected to make in our time here, there were the ones that not many of us saw coming. I didn't think that any of us knew that no matter how fast you ran in the hallway, having a locker was nearly impossible. We didn't know that by the end of high school, math would have more letters than numbers. We didn't know how hard it was to build a 20-foot-long popsicle stick suspension bridge. We didn't know that halfway through our journey, we would say goodbye to white bread forever at lunch and only be served wheat bread by force. We didn't know that chemistry class doesn't involve blowing things up, but it does involve a lot of math and memorization. We didn't know that the best way to be distracted in class was to be given a MacBook. After we got past all the things that we didn't know, we began to figure out all the things we had learned. We learned that if you have ever taken Mr. Kirkland's math class, you will never forget a few things. First, you will never forget that top times a top equals new top. Bottom times a bottom equals new bottom. Second, you won't ever forget that if you get distracted, you gotta come on back, folks. Gotta come on back. And lastly, my personal favorite, you will never forget that you gotta square root that thing. Also, you won't forget the quadratic formula, but I'm not gonna sing that song right now. We learned that if you were ever anywhere in the 500 or 600 hall, you never had to worry about being late because Mr. Spate will gladly, constantly remind you of how much time you have left. You know. We learned that every day is Miss Mellie's birthday. By the way, happy birthday, Miss Mellie. And we learned that Wikipedia is under no circumstances ever an acceptable source of information and is never to be used or trusted. Most importantly, though, in these 4 years, we have learned what we are capable of. We have learned what our potential is, and we have a much better idea of what to do with our lives as we go forward in the world. In our journey, there were all those that guided us along the way, the teachers who worked so hard to give us the education that we so desperately need in order to succeed in life, the administrators who do their best to keep us safe in a safe learning environment, the counselors who are somehow able to put together schedules and keep track of grades for all their students, the custodians whose work often goes unnoticed, but is so absolutely necessary for the school, coaches who have guided us through our athletics and taught us to strive for excellence in ways other than just academic, and of course our parents. They have been there behind us, pushing us step by step to become adults and to be able to fend for ourselves in the world. I am so grateful to all of these people for making our high school experience as good as it has been, and helping us to grow into the people that we are today. This time in high school has been a wonderful part of our lives. It has been the final step of the journey that we began when we first entered elementary school all those years ago. It is also the first step in starting our professional lives as adults. But before we go off and start that, I hope we enjoy now. Enjoy today. Enjoy the victory of finally graduating high school. There will be plenty of time to move forward soon enough. Right now, take this time to celebrate you and your accomplishment. You have earned it. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. But today is a gift. That is why it is called the present. Here's to the class of 2014. We made it. God bless this class, and God bless America. Thank you. This isn't an encore. I have to introduce Andy now. All right, good afternoon again, parents, faculty, honored guests, and of course, the class of 2014. It is my pleasure today to introduce to you someone who has worked so hard in high school that he has achieved the honorable title of the #1, the Valedictorian. But before I do that, I'd like to address something that I've learned during these 4 years in high school. When you set out to do something, always try your best. I know that sounds like a very cliche and boring, typical thing for me to say, and it is. But here's why I'm saying it. If you set out to do something, and you know that you truly gave it your all, then you'll have no regrets. You will know that there was nothing else you could have done better, and there will be no reason to feel upset about the effort you had given when you look back. I know that we each have our individual talents. I have seen them all through the 4 years of high school. We have our scholars, artists, athletes, performers, caretakers, musicians, humanitarians, industrialists, and many other categories of people here at this very school, sitting in front of me right now. I know that this class of 2014 is truly capable of going out into the world and doing great things. That's not just some cliche statement. That's straight from the heart. You are all amazing at what you do best. So when we leave this place, go out and do what you do best to the fullest of your ability. And I am confident that one day you will be able to look back on your life and be happy because you gave it all you had, and that's all anyone can ever ask of you. Now, with great pleasure, I would like to introduce the man who gave it all he had and came out on the very top. I know he truly deserves this because, as anyone knows who has ever worked beside him in the classroom, he is incredibly smart. Class of 2014, I now turn the microphone over to your valedictorian, Mr. Andrew Moody.
Good evening, everyone. I'm honored to be able to stand here in front of all the graduates of our class. It makes me very happy that I could be a part of you as one of your fellow graduates today. I'd like to start off with a poem that I decided to write for our school. It goes like this. Roses are red, violets are blue. Those colors don't matter, just live the maroon life. I'm sorry I'm not a great poet, but I think the message is still there. You know, all of you are awesome here in front of me today. We're graduating. We're finally getting to move on from something that has burdened us for the past 12 or 13 years of our lives. We no longer have to get up every morning to go to school or worry about homework in the night and anything like that. As valedictorian, I'm supposed to speak to you today about the journey that we've faced for the past 13 years leading up to this moment. Unfortunately, I was homeschooled before coming to Nash Central High School, so I can't really share too much of the experience beforehand. And even more unfortunately, I think I slept through most of my classes for the past 4 years, so I don't have much to add to what Tristan said about our memories. I mean, I don't know how, but somehow I managed to dodge 4 full years of food fights and classroom helicopter shenanigans that I don't have much that I can share with y'all today. Sure, I remember the courses that we were forced to take, like freshman transition and contemporary law, and all of Mr. Spate's secret army of you-know students. But that's about it. So I'd like to focus on the future instead. As we all move on from here, we'll have to face the real world full of trials that are greater than those that we've had to face here. Some of us will be going to college for another 4 years to continue our education, and we'll have professors much more difficult than the teachers we've dealt with. Some of you will be moving into the Marines or other parts of the Army, and will bring great honor to our country. Others will just simply move on to the workforce, but they are not to be undermined because I believe they are still doing great work for us. There's nothing I do without trying to be the best at it, and that is the advice I want to pass to all of you today. I have a quote from the 19th century writer Ralph Waldo Emerson that goes, "Make the most of yourself, for that is all there is of you." Be the best at whatever it is you do. Coming to this school, I've had the opportunity to interact with people who are the best at what they do, from my perspective. I've met great musicians like Mo Alzer and Alex Whitehead, who led our marching Bulldogs for the past 2 years. I've met great athletes like the tennis players Kaylee Price and Jackson Willis, who dominated during their seasons this past year. And I've met all-around hard workers like Tristan and Alea, who sit here on the stage with me today. From my perspective, it seems like all of you deserve to be up here to give speeches today. As far as I'm concerned, the only reason I am is because I wrote some right answers on some tests or whatever. I know all of you are amazing in your own way and have the capability of being the best at whatever you do, from someone's perspective at least. I have another quote from a music artist that some of you may be familiar with, Kanye West. He said in an interview, "I always feel like I can do anything. That's the main reason people are controlled by. That's the main thing people are controlled by. Thoughts and perceptions of yourself. If you're taught you can't do anything, you won't do anything." That right there is the attitude that brought him to fame, believing he can do anything. So maybe he isn't exactly a god as he is claimed in his music, but his sense of self-accomplishment is inspiring to me, and I hope that you will all feel the same way as you accomplish things in the future. I'd like to make some quick shout-outs at this time to some people who have influenced me and many of you. Thank you to the faculty of this school that has set us up with this education in the first place, with administrators and counselors to run everything smoothly. I would like to especially shout out to the teachers whose long schedules of working after school have surpassed that which we have had to follow as students. Y'all are the real MVPs. But seriously, I'm sure every graduating senior in this room can agree that the teachers at this school deserve great thanks for their efforts. Thank you to the parents and families who will hopefully continue to support all of us as we move on into the future. And finally, shout out to all of our seniors. I know that you can all be the best at what you do, and I hope you remember to live with pride in your accomplishments. Congratulations, class of 2014, we made it.
Thank you, Andrew. In just a moment, our assistant principals will begin calling the names of your sons and daughters to cross this stage for the last time. Parents, friends, and relatives, I implore you to continue to respect this ceremony. Please do not yell, cheer, or offer up other gestures that will take away from the tone of the ceremony thus far. If these guidelines cannot be followed, a designated staff member will kindly ask you to leave. Extreme cases of non-compliance will be handled by local law enforcement officers. Once again, please hold all applause until the last name is called. At this time, Ms. Flora, Assistant Principal for Nash Central High School, will begin calling names. She will be followed by Mr. Claude Archer and Mr. Michael Gerard. Ms. Flora.
Robert Ernest Addington. Nicole Marie Aguirreberry. Camille Fidel Alamari. Alexis Alicia Serrano. Christopher Austin. Natise Annette Austin. Muhammad Saber Alzer. Paxton Edward Andrews. Crystal Brianne Applewhite. Kiana Raquel Arrington. Notori Renal Arrington. Matthew Jackson Askew. Jaquan Doris Atkinson. Crystal Lene Atkinson. Delonte Gerald Austin. Tayshawn Trevante Avent. Brittany Logan Avery. Jennifer Amanda Baker. Courtney Allen Banning. Matthew John Barfield. Brianna Rachel Barnes. Devontae Levon Battle. Donovan Anderson Battle. Patrick Devon Battle. Tierra Monet Battle. Andrew Lynch Beal. Brittany Lane Bedingfield. Anthony Antoine Bell. Bryson Lee Berwick. Christopher Michael Best. Deontay Kadane Biggs. Joshua Aaron Bishop. Akiva Rakaya Blakeney. Naisha Joylinda Moet Bowden. Amani Quadira Boyd. Kimberly Michelle Bradbury. Gregory Kyle Bradner. Dominique Jamal Braswell. Malcolm Jamal Brake. Lanita Tracy Brown. Montrez Jordan Brown. Tashonda Renee Brown. Hannah Paige Browning. Asia Jasmine Bryant. Kenyana Shantae Bynum. Austin Tyler Byram. Brett Wesley Campbell. Artemio Antoine Carbolito. Donald DeWyatt Cashwell III. Abby Thomas Clifton. Brandy Victoria Coggin. Bettina Ashley Coley. Antoine LaShawn Cooper. Tride LaShawn S. Cox. Zachary Allen Cribb. Caitlin McCrae Davis. Holly Jean Davis. William Aaron Jamal Davis. Tashana Moet Day. Courtney Lee Dufresne. Denasia Marcia Dixon. Tamara Lynette Dixon. Kiera LaShawn Eason. Joshua Michael Easter. Deja Quartia Edwards. Sydney Leanne Edwards. Blair Alexandra Ellis. Chad Matthew Evans. Shantia Nicole Evans. Regine Patrice Farmer. Sean Richard Fothery. Brandon Isaiah Finner. Glenn Brooks Farrell Jr. Jessica Lee Flood. Jabrianna Kieta Freeman. Mercedes Artima Green. Pebbles Sierra Gupton. Sade Ashanti Gupton. Watkins Wren Hale. Kiara Natasia Harper. Mitchell Jordan Harold. Jordan Hollis Harris. Malcolm Montel Harris. Tyreek Rashawn Harrison.
Michael Brian Headley. Javon Lamar Higgins. Patrick Gabriel Henry. Chloe Montana Hicks. Destiny Brianna Hill. John Marvin Hinton III. Mariah Monet Hooper. Lachelle Renee Horn. Patrick Graham Horn. Jerish LaShann Howard. Armand Jamal Johnson. Alexia Keon Jones. Brianna Marie Jones. Faith Tiara Jones. Reggie Neal Joyner. Stephen Mitchell Joyner. Brianna Destiny Joyner Foreman. Kiana Faith Joyner Foreman. Devin McLeod Kastner. Lauren Ashley Kidd. Marana Deshae King. Niana Lachey King. Tyler Christopher King. Michael Jonas Landry. Mary Patricia Lane. Harrison McKinney Lane. Erica Deshawn Lawrence. Randy Terrain Lawrence Jr. Kiana Monisha Lee. Lindsay Joe Leonard. Marquez Antonio Leonard. Jamani Renee Lewis. Kelly Hicks Lewis. Destiny Judea Lewis Ramsey. Aaron Rashawn Lindsay. Daniel Delaray Long. Michaela Anne-Marie Lowe. Absalom Malik Lucas. Jasmine Alexis Lucas. Travis Jamel Lucas. Shaniqua Lentrice Lynch. Tavares Devon Lynch. Khalil Derek Macklin. Jameer Grace Mallory. Emily Marie Manning. Natalie Ray Manning. Nicholas Lee Manning. Anthony Allen Mariani. Aziz Abdul Kareem Mazel. Sierra Victoria McKinney. Quentin Earl McNair. Joshua Thomas Milton. Tavasia Jermika Mercer. Ashley Ann Michaels. Tristan Taylor Miller. Andrew Donovan Moody. Devin Tyrell Moody. Shakira Tierra Morgan, Courtney Faith Morley, Tamir Demetrius Moss, Jordan Elena Nelson, Giselle Gabriela Olivera Chavez, Edgar Uriel Olivera Jimenez, Chelsea Ann Osterhout, Jordan Taylor Page, Brandy Lee Parham, Dylan Craig Parker, Kenneth Michael Parker, Hunter Louis Palakowski, Garrett Tyler Pierce, Taylor Marie Pierce, Deja Jacqueline Louise Pemberton, Trayon Herbert Perry, Amanda Page Phillips, Natima Zakaya Pierce, Kanita Denise Pitt, Daniel Lee Pittman, Malik Gilbert Pittman, Tabora Ashanti Pittman, Kaylee Danielle Price, Heather Bailey Pridgeon, Gianni Deshay Putty,
Jade Nicole Pulley, Alman Clavano Rajel, Alea Jamani Reynolds, Tyrone Willis Reynolds, Tia Adero Rice, Brittany Nicole Richardson, Brian Devon Richardson, Daquan Treve Richardson, Tashana Rochelle Richardson, Talia Cantera Richardson, Bailey Cinda Benad Ritchie, Jesus Rios, Monica Daniela Rivera, Marquez Devontae Robertson, Hannah Elizabeth Robinson, Cassandra Robledo, Jessica Blair Rogers, San Quentin Devontae Rogers, Brian Cortez Rome, Abigail Jamie Ross, Antonio Delasio Ruffin, Raekwon Rashawn Sampson, Dusty Lee Sauls, Landis Tyler Schrock, Tyron Trayvon Sharp, Damian Keon Silver, Trayvon Markel Simpson, Dania Myasia Small, Cody Franklin Smith, Haley Anderson Smith, Michael Tyler Smith, Trevor Wayne Smith, Ebony Latrice Spate, Aaliyah Latrice Staggers, Daquan Lamar Staten, Dwayne Clydell Stiegel, Andrea Carmel Strickland, Brittany Ann Strickland. Naya Grayson Stiles. Alyssa Danielle Sullivan. Taylor Leanne Sullivan. Christopher McCoy Sutton. Colton Andrew Swink. Shanice Zane Tabrin. Hakeem Montrell Taylor. Jason Bradley Taylor. Kyle Langley Taylor. Montez Eugene Taylor Jr. Tanisha Renee Taylor. Terry Ann Thomas. Trey Dervell Thomas. Troy Darnell Thomas. Brianna Janae Thorne. Deja Monet Trader. Haley Meredith Tucker. Hannah Marie Turner. Zachary Lewis Tyner. Jameson Reed Tyson. Nicole Leanne Underdew. Daquasia Janae Vick. Garrison Coley Vick. Mitchell Scott Vick. Stacy Nicole Vick. Caitlin Ann Wallace. Michael Tyler Walton. Ryan Tracy West. Sonny Lee Wheeler. Gertrude Kendria Whitaker. Alex Coley Whitehead. Desmond Takira Whitehead. Brianna Arshel Whitley. Kristen Leanne Wilder. Akila Latrice Wilkins. Jamia Nishay Wilkins. Brian Dupree Williams Jr. Deshaun Raekwon Williams. Deja Simone Williams. Jasmine Lene Williams. Michaela Amani Williams. Shakima Lashayla Williams. Stuart Jackson Willis. Robert Lee Wooldridge III. Morgan Rowe Wooten.
May I have your attention, please? As principal of Nash Central High School, I certify that these seniors have met all of the requirements set forth by the Nash Rocky Mount Public Schools and the state of North Carolina. By the power vested in me, I hereby declare you, the class of 2014, to be graduates of Nash Central High School. Seniors, you may turn your tassel.